Welcome back, my badass boys and badass babes. Like I said, guess who's back? It is your Lord's concubine, Sister Vixen. And as always, hit your likes and subscribe buttons wherever they're at. I got some good news. No, it's not that. Here's the good news. I've become a minister. That's the good news I wanted to share with everyone. I got ordained to be a minister. Now, I've got to tell you why I became a minister. I found out how much these people are getting per ceremony. When I heard that, it's like, really? You're getting that much? And you don't have to take off your clothes? How do I sign up for this racket? And so I did. So I have become a minister, and I gotta tell you, it has changed not much in my life, but at least I'm earning some more money keeping my clothes on. Let's just finish that way. And while I was on vacation, and one of the reasons I have to tell you I took vacation is because a good friend of mine, she wanted to get married, and she wanted me to officiate the wedding ceremony, get them married, hitched, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so I go through, get ordained, got the certificate on my wall and everything. And so I got to give you a little context about the bride and the groom. Okay, the groom, hard worker, construction worker. He worked like 60 plus hours a week. Really good guy. Got to tell you that. She found a really good guy. Now, my friend is one of those more nature loving, more in touch with nature than spiritual side. She's a free thinker. She's a hell of a good person. So she really found a good, stable guy who can put up with her shit. I'm sorry. What I meant to say was who could love her for the woman she is. All right. So these two, they want a nice little private ceremony with some family members, maybe a few friends, less than 30 people, okay? And so they have this nice spacious backyard of one of their friends' houses. We're in their little garden area. They have a nice little awning set up. And this is outdoors, okay? For all those of you who have had an outdoor wedding, you know there can be some elements that you can't control, like the weather. And for the record, that doesn't play in today's story of what happened, all right? Today's story involves with other elements that you should really consider during your wedding. So my friend, I gotta tell you, she is not handling the wedding day as good as she could have. Because she and, this is the part that you have to understand, she and her bridesmaids decided to have a bachelorette party for 3 days straight in the woods. You heard me. They wanted to go have fun in the woods. Now, I didn't think that was such a bad idea. You know, a bunch of girls, rent a cabin, Airbnb, have some alcohol, go out there, have some fun. I thought that's what they were doing. But oh no, in the woods is a name of a bar that is, how do we want to politely say this? The directions involve turning off the paved road kind of establishment, okay, where the alcohol's cheap and so is the prices and so is the, how can we say, the, the people who go there are less than ideal. But apparently for 3 days straight, they were in the woods having a great time, and it finally caught up to them on the day of the wedding. She looks like she is just hung over, and she can barely move. She can barely string two sentences together, if that. So I'm thinking, I have to officiate this. Here is my good friend who is just coming off a 3-day bender. It's like, oh, this is, you can already see where part of the problem is. The groom, on the other hand, stone cold sober. He had his fun. He was there, he was looking sharp, shaved his beard, looked good, looked clean, smelled clean, looked great. He was ready to go. And I would love to tell you that this story has a happy ending. I would love to tell you that this story has one of those kind of movie moments where she looks into his eyes, he looks into her eyes, just everyone melts, and then they just walk down the aisle hand in hand. And God, I want to tell you that. Here's what happened at the ceremony. All right. It is an outdoor ceremony. Keep this element in mind because it's going to play into a lot of things. My friend wants, like I said, we got this little awning, we got everything. Okay, so that's not bad. The weather is actually nice. On the day she chose, it actually turned out to be a really nice day. Sunshine, not too hot, a little breeze to help cool things off. So ideally the perfect day, which every bride and every woman knows this, okay? If you don't believe me, you try wearing all those layers on a dress, okay? And go out to the hot sun, all right? Shapewear, layer, then dress. Every woman understands that. So if you don't understand that, you've never worn a wedding dress to a wedding. Anyways, she's out there. And to be fair, she's not doing a normal wedding dress, but she has this simplistic, like, bohemian chic kind of dress, which she chose and she made. She did a very good job. She makes her own kind of stuff, and I gotta give her credit. She did a very good job. And so they chose their own music, here comes the procession. I say, well, everyone please rise. Everyone does. Now, you have to understand something. Before I go on, my friend wanted live geese in the area for her wedding. She wanted swans and she wanted geese roaming around the area. She wanted birds in this, she liked birds, so she has geese and swans and other birds just kind of roaming around the area. Doves, she released doves before. Oh yeah, I gotta tell you about the releasing of the doves. When she comes down, she wanted doves released. I can't stress enough that you should never have birds at your wedding. Here's why. As they released the doves, one of them had to empty their bowels, and it just happened to hit the top of her headpiece. Alrighty, not the best omen, but she continues to walk down. Everyone is seeing this, and we're mortified. We're trying not to laugh, but this poor woman, her beautiful, elegant headpiece of white and beautiful other colored flowers, which I don't know what they were, but anyways, has, in my opinion, she calls them doves. I think they're pigeons, but hey, she says they're doves. They're doves. I'm not a bird expert. Dove shit on her head. So she finally gets there. All right, I commence with the ceremony, all right? And the worst part is the damn birds. They are squawking. They are, whatever birds do, but they are just ripping the place apart in the back. And there's more with the birds. Don't worry, I'll get to them in a moment. So I'm officiating the ceremony. And I wish I could make this part up. But you get to the part where the ceremony, who's ever doing the ceremony, gets to the part where it says, if anyone can show just cause as to why these two people shouldn't be married, speak now or forever hold your peace. When I got to that part, the ring bearer, the little boy who brings down the rings, that kid cut a fart. I'm not talking a cute fart. It sounded like he just shot himself, okay? That's how loud the fart was. He just cut it. Now, in a man's world, he would have been bought a beer for this shit. But oh no, this little kid is just giggling and laughing. And to be fair, I was laughing because it was at the perfect comedic timing and I couldn't help it. All right, so it was the audience. So after we took a few minutes to compose ourselves, again, I would love to tell you that this ceremony ends in happiness. All right, the bride, when it comes to the exchanging of the vows, the groom, solid as a rock, says his lines. They write their own vows, puts the ring on her finger, promises his eternal love and devotion to her. Now it's her turn. And I'll let you start, how can we say, imagining what she does here. She apparently had a, how can I say this politely, a coming to Jesus moment with herself. She starts confessing her sins in front of her groom, in front of his groomsmen, his best man, the ring bearer, the flower girl, her bridesmaids, her maid of honor, her family, her friends, and me. And of course the groom. About the things she did while she was in the woods. She said she felt guilty and needed to have a clean slate. And I've got to tell you, I was shocked to hear my friend decide to ride a mechanical bull buck naked was, I think, one of my personal favorite highlights of what she did. Okay? Now, for the record, did she cheat on him? If you count the mechanical bull, then the answer is yes. She didn't necessarily cheat on him. However, and I'm going to use that term, however, she may have committed a felony or two. And what do I mean by a felony or two? Let's just say there might be a certain amount of damaged property that she may have accidentally done while, let's just say, drinking some bad piss-ass moonshine that she got there. And she may have accidentally, wrecked a car into a tree or into a bar. Things happen when you get drunk off bad moonshine. I'm just saying. And here she is confessing all of this. And the groom, I don't know if this guy was just, that good of a guy, or if he was just stunned or what, but he just has this blank look on his face because this dude is he is solid stone. I mean, I could have hit him with a brick. That's how mortified he was. But for some odd reason, he looks into her eyes and says, yes, I will still accept you for the crazy drunk that you are. His words, not mine. All right, just want to make that clear. That's not my words. Those are his. And that was during the wedding. Again, I would love to tell you this would be the perfect moment where you just tie it up after everything that's gone on. He looks at her and says, I love you. I don't care about that. Let's just, move together with our life. Then come the birds. The geese, the swans, the doves, or whatever the hell those flying pigeons. I call them pigeons. Okay, and for the record, to me, pigeons are nothing more than rats with wings. That's just my view. Anyways, the birds are going nuts. They have destroyed, I'm not kidding you, they have destroyed the reception table. All right? They have got up on it. They have kicked stuff around. They have tilted it over. And if that wasn't bad enough, all right, one of them is flying around and he bites me. This goose just comes over and pinches me with his beak. He just bites me on the butt. Okay, now I could have handled this a little bit better. I could have just shooed the goose away. But what do I do in the moment of my fury and rage? I'm proud of what I did. I want to say I am remorseful. I wish I could, but I turn around, grab the goose, snap its neck in front of everyone and their children. Okay, I just turned this from a beautiful marriage into basically a horror movie. Everyone is mortified that I killed a goose in front of all these kids, and at this point the bride and groom are just running away. They're just getting the hell out of Dodge, and according to their friends, they decide to go, in the woods to have a few drinks. Well, what can I say? That is how my first ordained ceremony went with me being the minister. So let's review. Number one, don't ever have birds at your ceremony, okay? To me, it's a disaster. You just don't know it yet. And if you do know it, then you're smart enough not to get them. Number two, if you're going to go have a 3-day bachelorette party, make sure you have a day of rest between the bachelorette parties and then your day of, getting married. And the final thing is, don't snap a goose's neck at a wedding where there's kids. For the record, if you bring kids to the wedding, you should just get a babysitter, all right? From now on, if you have kids, just get a babysitter and just have the adults go, okay, for my sake, not for yours, but for mine. Well, what can I tell you? The Vixen's back, and as always, who's your Vixen then? Bye-bye.